What is up, everyone? Today, it's a special. Today, we are doing a breakdown of four crazy good Sparkins coming to Dragon Ball Legends. I'm not alone. I got Batito. I got OG53
Yep.
and
Hello. What's up?
May Yoden and Les. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
So, is there drunk first? Because, you know what I'm saying? The order. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
drunk blue, okay. 7 stars, 5%. Not bad stats.
Yeah. So for an LF, that's not a Zenkai. His strike attack is pretty good
Mm-hmm.
for an LF.
Oh my gosh, look at his strike attack. Oh god.
Yeah. So, yeah.
His blast attack is pretty decent too. His defenses, I think they're pretty. I think he's a pretty balanced unit overall.
Yeah.
Although
Mm-hmm.
mainly he wants to attack. So, but I think he's a pretty balanced unit in terms of stats. But in terms of like how much the stats are, I think it's a little busted. If paired up with a certain amount of buffs. So,
Yeah.
but I think it should be fine.
So,
Yeah.
do you want to read the kits?
Uh,
Sure.
s all right. So main ability: share your power with me. Draw the ultimate arts card. Final Hope Slash next. Restores one health by 20% and ki by 40. Plus 20% to damage inflicted for 30 timer counts. Applies attribute upgrade minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut effects to self for 30 timer counts. Requirements 25 timer counts must elapse.
Alright,
So,
let me read the unique ability next.
wait,
But
wait.
okay,
So,
go.
discussing the main ability a little bit, I think this is a pretty balanced main ability. So, and it also gives like a minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut compared to like say Vegito Blue's minus 100 for like 3 timer counts. I think it's a good trade-off in my opinion because you can still like do a mass amount of damage against an enemy sustained damage cut after the ultimate, or even if you miss, you still have the buff. So I think it's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, OG, you up, man.
Okay, unique ability. Miraculous power of protection. Applies the following effects to self when battle stats. Plus 90% to damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Reduces damage received by 30% cannot be cancelled. Applies the following effects to self every time one fist with an enemy. Restores ki by 30. Plus 30% to next strike art damage inflicted. Reduces damage received by 10% for 10 timer counts when enemy uses a strike, blast, special move awakened, or ultimate art card, my bad. While this character is on the battlefield or standby, up to 30%. While this character is on the battlefield, when causing a character with the revives when health reaches zero effect to revive, the character's revives with 30% less health cannot be
Yeah.
cancelled.
So in a way, this first unique ability, is essentially, I believe, 8 Vegetas, but like 10% more. Because I think with 8 Vegeta, it's like 20% reduction.
Wait, let me check. I have Legends opened up real quick. Alright, let me check how much Vegeta is. So, according to Vegeta, alright, let's see it. Vegeta. Let's see.
Should be the second passive.
Oh yeah, the overwhelming power. No, one. No, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. So okay, so never mind. So essentially, his passive is basically like 8 Vegetas. That's like father like son. That's interesting.
Okay,
Mhm.
going on to the second.
Sword of Hopes and Dreams. Knocks enemy back to long range if a cover change is performed against their strike arts attack. Combo arts, special move arts activates during assist. Oh wait, okay, so never mind. So activates during okay. So what okay, so activates during assist I thought it would imply like the tag change characters, but it turns out I think this is applying to co-op, but I digress. Charges on unique gauge every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character's on the battlefield. So essentially you want him to take hits. It's from what I can read from this unique ability, you want for his unique gauge to fill, you want him to take hits. That's a very interesting unique ability. Compared to like say UI Goku or Cell, I think this is a little nerfed considering how powerful he is in his own way. On the other hand, I don't see the point in him having to get hit because again, he's not the best tank. He's an LF, like probably a new one. His defense is probably not going to be the best at low stars. So I don't know what they were thinking, but you know. Let me see. So the following effects occurred once unique gauge is full, reduces enemy ki by 60, restores own health by 15%, plus 40% to damage inflicted, plus 40% to ultimate damage inflicted, increases own arts control speed by 1, cannot be cancelled. So essentially you're crippling the opponent a little bit. So say they're doing a combo, they have like 60 ki, well it's gone. So say you're fighting, I think he's meant to sort of counter Evolution Vegeta. Because if you guys remember, Evolution Vegeta gains ki every time his ki's below, 35, I believe. Or 30. So, essentially, I think this does nerf Evolution Vegeta a bit, but at the same time, you could potentially put Evolution Vegeta on your team and, essentially just continue the combo that way. But, yeah. Alright. Applies the following effects to self if there are 2 or more tag Vegeta clan or tag future battle members other than this character in the party when battle starts. So I'm sorry to anybody who mains hybrids, but thank God they didn't add hybrids. If it was hybrids, I have a problem with this.
I agree with the Vegeta 100% actually in there.
Same.
Because hybrids, I'm gonna say this right now, they do not need another buff, at least right now. Like they're already good. Like in terms of a blue, potentially you could put them there. You could put him on a hybrid team, right? But at the same time, I don't really see a point in having to put him on hybrids. So, all right, but all right, I'll talk about the Z ability later because I see that all right. So, all right, restores on health by 25% only once when it reaches 0. Activates once, cannot be canceled. So what this implies is that people who can nullify endurance, that's not going to happen for Trunks. So even if you get the buff, that's not going to happen from what I can see.
Wow.
Otherwise it's just any other endurance. But if he has like a unique type of endurance, I'm all for it.
He is the first one.
Yeah. So he's meant to take a hit actually. So, as you guys know, like I said before, for his unique gauge, he has to get hit. So, it says he charges his own unique gauge by 100 when own health reaches 0. So, that means if you have the Vegeta clan or future members as your squad, what'll happen is like endurance will activate, and like say you didn't use Trunks, like his endurance gets popped after a rising rush, for example, then your unique gauge is pretty much ready to go. So
6 copies of a Unicorn's 14 stars.
That's really good.
Yeah. So, just a reminder to everybody for when they summon on your summon on the banners, any newer or veteran players, or returning players even, just keep in mind that if you get this unit on the banner, it is a guaranteed 4 stars right off the bat. If you don't want to summon anymore, if you guys have L of Z power saved up, you can pretty much just get into 6 stars. Same with any other LF or sparking, basically. But I digress. So it looks like his strike card has heavy bleed.
Yeah, definitely.
On it, so 30% chance to inflict heavy bleed. So from what this tells me is that he has a sword, but makes sense. So I think, well, at the very least, his heavy bleed is kind of balanced. I think it's a bit similar to the Trunks in my unit that we got. I think months prior, with the LF Rose. But yeah, his blast recovers key by 10 upon activation. So basically, what this tells us is that you're basically spending 19 key, and you're basically just spending 19 key per blast card. So basically, you just have what's it called? So it's basically the same cost of your strike, but if you have enough key. So, all right. His Gala gun can be teachable. Deals massive impact damage plus 30% to special move damage inflicted by allies or your buddy. Okay. So what this implies is that he's basically similar to his dad, which is the purple future Vegeta. That buffs, I think, special move damage by 50%, I believe. Unless it's the same, but unless it's the same percentage, I believe it's like a 50% damage to special move for about a specific amount of timer counts. But yeah, he has some support through his blue card, so I think that's great. Special skill, Oscar, the special skill.
Oh, special skill. Okay. Destroy. Oh, sort of. Hope my bad. Destroys all of your own cards and randomly draws 4 new ones. Increase on unique gauge by 20%. Plus 20% to damage inflicted for 50 timer counts. Plus 20% to the next strike. Strike cards damage. Oh wow! This was a really good green card.
Yeah. So what this implies is that aside from having a strike buff, so it's technically like Red Goku, where if he activates a green, you either get more crit, so you either get like a guaranteed crit, either on your strike or your blue card, depending on what you choose, or like you have a higher chance. But what this tells us is that you're supposed to take like just a couple hits with Trunks, because if again, like I said, he's supposed to take hits to fill his unique gauge. But his green card would also help increase his unique gauge as well. And Sword of Hope, the Sword of Hope green card destroying all your cards for 4 new ones. I think that's a good like redraw system. Essentially, it's the same thing as Yellow Vegito, but I think it's on a green card. So I think it's a pretty good change.
I agree with that.
The big gun.
Yep.
All right, let me read it this time. Well, if you want Vegito, if you want, you can read it.
Yeah, sorry about that. All right, Final Hope Slash deals supreme slice damage. Supreme. Okay, I don't really see this often because usually you see massive or like just a regular type of blue card here, right? So, so Supreme tells me that he's gonna do a massive amount of damage, like higher than what like say massive can do. Like, so take for example a special move, massive impact. It's gonna do a lot more than a regular massive slice damage. So, but I digress. 50%. So applies the following effects to self upon activation. Plus 50% of ultimate damage. Well, 50% for 30 timer counts. Nullifies enemies, restores on health when it reaches 0 effects when this character attacks for 3 timer counts. So that's pretty much nullifying endurance. Also nullifies own unfavorable elements for 10 timer counts if there are 2 defeated battle members. So what this implies is that he's also meant for last man standing, and he's a bit of like I think he's like if he activates ultimate with 2 dead battle members, it's kind of like if he's like LF Super Saiyan 3, because both of them. The only difference is that Goku gets his nullification of elements on main, whereas Trunks is using his ultimate. But I digress. It's essentially the same thing.
No, and I believe fun fact. I believe this is the first. I believe this is the first character to get a supreme like a type of thing on their ultimate. I believe this is the first ever character.
And I believe so as well because I don't really see any other person with that type of card unless I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe Purple Gohan has it because he does a stupid amount of damage, but I don't know. I can't really say anything about that. We don't care about TOP, so
No, how Willy Legends really average at 66 stars, 14 stars, really average.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this right now. Legends, I know you want to buff hybrid. I love that you put hybrids there, but you could have put something like what, Future Trunk Saga? Actually, no, that wouldn't make sense because there's Future, but you could have put something else there instead of Hybrid Saiyan.
For example, me.
It's
No, I'm joking.
It's not help the team at all with his kits.
Yeah. So, okay. So to those who use Hybrid Saiyans, rejoice, you get your blue unit, but he doesn't do anything for you if you don't have Vegeta Clan or future units. So what this implies is that if you're running hybrids and you want to take advantage of the endurance factor, you have to run Trunks units essentially alongside him. Or you have to run, say, well, Future Gohan is one, but you essentially have to also run you also have to essentially run either another Future member or another or some other Vegeta Clan member, essentially. So the wording of his unique ability with the tag Vegeta Clan or Future, I don't know if this implies if you can just have like one of them is just purely Vegeta Clan and the other purely Future. I don't know that, but if that's the case, then I think it's fine.
Yeah.
So
he sounds good. He sounds good, but the problem is the legend is tagged one, please. Put that on.
Yeah.
So he sounds good.
I want to say this, Broly. So for those who main hybrids, probably not the best to put him on the team. I know that sounds crazy, but as you can see his buffs, he buffs strike attack and blast defense. And he buffs strike defense for characters that are both Future and Vegeta Clan, which implies that he's meant for a strike variant of hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also meant for a strike variant of, I believe, Vegeta Clan and Future. But I think he'll thrive more on Future. From my perspective, he'll thrive more on Future.
So, like, this is my opinion, but I know he doesn't belong on hybrids, but he is kind of like the opposite of the Zenkai Red Gohan.
Yeah, because he has a unique gauge, and essentially he's supposed to take a couple hits compared to Gohan, where he just shreds people right off the bat. He's trying to build it up, and then he gets the buffs, because he deserves it, because you build him up as the battle goes on, so on and so forth.
Yeah. So
right.
So this is fast. So then we are on Goku Black.
Samasi Goku Black Assist.
So at 7 stars, it's 5%. Not bad.
Wait, Zamasu and Goku Black Assist?
Assist Goku Black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, it says that he's a defense type. So yeah, his defenses are pretty much on par with Trunks, if not lower. So probably not the best unit to have unless you're running him mainly for like a tanky version of Future. I would also argue that he could be on regen or powerful opponents. A tanky setup would, mind you, but I think he's meant to have defensive equipments to actually shine as a defensive type, because he's not meant to hit. I think he's meant to tank.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Alright. I'm gonna read the details, but I want Sans here to, read off Resolute Annihilation in his Zamasu impression. So, Sans, would you like to kick it
Resolute Annihilation. When draws are next to your stored on key by 50, plus 30 makes more special damage inflict their 60 timer count. Plus 50 to own health regeneration for a 60 timer count. So that perfectly means that if you do it, congratulations, you can regen for the rest of the match as long as you don't die. Congratulations, you're dead.
So, like Sin says, restores zone keep by 50, plus 30% to special move damage inflicted, and plus 50% to health restoration, and gradually restores health. So I think essentially with how it's worded, I think it's like a watered down version of the purple Zamasu, what he can do, except you add a special move damage inflicted with it and key restoration. And so health restoration from blast cards that the purple Zamasu does. Gradually restores health by 60 timer counts. I think this is a very powerful thing. Because as you guys know, bleed is very powerful, especially extreme bleed, right, from purple rose. Because goodness, like you're taking damage even though you're not getting hit.
Yeah.
Gradually restoring on health is essentially the same thing, only it's benefiting you specifically and not the opponent.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
But yes, unique ability: the immortal body of a god applies the following effects itself when battle starts. Nullifies attribute downgrades for 30 timer counts, reduces damage received by 15% for 30 timer counts, reduces damage received by 15% for 70 timer counts, reduces damage received by 30%. All cannot be cancelled. So essentially, he has 60% damage reduction, but he loses 15% after 30 timer counts and after 40 timer count, an extra 40 timer counts. So. And he also nullifies attribute downgrades, which means stuff like more strike damage inflicted. That's not going to work.
Mm-mm.
So, and it also says inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10% of damage received for 15 timer counts every time an enemy uses a strike or blast stars when this character is on the battlefield. So he does more damage for every card he does. So I think he's meant to rack up debuffs as well. So essentially, if you want him to shine offensively, you want to like debuff the opponent as much as you can. So applies the following effects to allies when this character switches standby. Restores health by 5 and plus 20% to strike damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. So he also has support mechanics, as I said before, with the details. This is not, and keep this in mind, this is not limited. This is infinite, by the way. So, and you can put him on any team. So, say like Fat Boo can take advantage of this. Like regen members can take advantage. Mainly regen members are going to take advantage of this. Future members as well, I think, would possibly benefit from this if you have the right amount of defenses. And mainly, I think it would mainly be focused on Purple Zamasu and Corrupt Zamasu because they restore health in their own way. Plus 20% to strike damage. I think that's a really good buff, especially for if this character is paired alongside the red Corrupt Zamasu. I think this is a really good setup.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Oscar.
Okay.
Next unique ability.
What's up?
Blade of Divine Cleansing.
The Blade of Divine Cleansing. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. Plus 80% to damage inflicted cannot be stacked. Seals all enemies' main ability for 10 timer counts. Activates twice. Following effects occur when changing cover. Randomly destroys one of your own cards and draws a special arts card next. Activates twice. Increases own art card draw speed by 2 levels for 15 timer counts. Reduces enemies' key by 30.
Okay. So this is a pretty good. I think this is so the first part of the second unique. This reminds me of Beerus in a way, because he also seals main abilities. We don't really get these type of characters very often, so I think this is a very good, like disruptive ability that this Zamasu with Goku Black Assist can have. Changing cover as well. I think this is a pretty good one as well, because I believe he doesn't have a cover change, right? So essentially the first part of the second passive when changing cover, I think that's similar to Evolution Vegeta, although it activates twice, so I think it's pretty good. Increases own arts card draw speed by 2 levels for 15 timer counts. So essentially, if they're ending the combo and you land a hit on them, your card draw speed is going to be busted pretty much. Reduction of enemy key by 30. That's pretty good for like stopping combos. Maybe not against Evolution Vegeta if he has a bunch of strikes, but I think this is a pretty good unique ability.
His blue card
Yeah. So nothing special about his Strike and Blast. Like Broly said, the blue card. So deals massive explode damage. Reduces enemies' Dragon Balls by 1 on hit. So just keep this in mind. Again, like I said before with, like, I think Trunks, this is... Actually, no, maybe it was with some of his passives. Maybe I don't know about Trunks. Maybe I said something about it. This is infinite. This is not by any means limited to like a few times, unless it says that. So just keep that in mind, everybody, that you can... So imagine having, I don't know, 3 blue cards and you somehow land a hit on them. That's an easy three Dragon Balls gone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
The green card's not bad.
Yeah. Shows them keep at 30, plus 20% to damage inflicted against Tag Saiyan or Tag Hyper Saiyan. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 15% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. Reduces enemy vanishing gauge to 0%. Activates once. So, what this implies is that he's a mix of Pycon through the green card, after transforming, of course, but he also gives more damage against Saiyans, Hybrid Saiyans, and gives a debuff as well. But that's if you're fighting against Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans. So he's meant to counter the meta, basically. But on the other hand, we don't, say, for example, I think Revival Gohan, after he transforms, might not stand a chance against him. But I think this is a pretty good passive if you're trying to counter the meta with the Zamasu.
Guys, is it time to bring the 2 boys?
The tags is Fisher, Godkey, and
Mhm.
Opponent.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, so the first part is Future or Godkey. Like Broly said, it's Future and Powerful Opponent. Base Strike Attack. Again, it's for Future and Powerful Opponent. So essentially, excuse me, you want to run him alongside Zamasu's Goku Blacks, the works, for the Strike Attack buff. But if you want to put him on, say, God Key, sorry to interrupt you. If you want to say put him on God Key, for example, and I think this is a good defensive option for God Key as well, considering they do buff the tag, then you're pretty much going to make a Tenki God Key setup, or you can make like a future team where you're mainly using Zamasu's Goku, like I said, Zamasu's Goku Blacks, where you'll pretty much have the tank of the team. And doing its work, and then you have the Z ability helping out other units, do damage.
Yeah. So that sound good. Now we're doing my the second boys. The first boy is.
I've been waiting for this for
Goku and Vegeta, or is it Broly?
It's Super Saiyan God, Goku, and Vegeta.
Alright, so the first tag switch character?
Yeah.
Are you recording?
Okay.
Yeah.
Stats. So what do you think, Broly?
Not that's before.
Yo, that's strike damage though.
Mhm.
Yo, I'm looking at
Okay,
strike damage,
so
right?
let me go back to Trunks for comparison. Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay.
Isn't Trunks more of a blast unit? Or is he
No.
a strike too? Wait.
He's a strike unit.
Oh, so both LFs are strike?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think the DBC space can accurately tell us what stats change, but but it's pretty balanced. On the other hand, though, comparing him to Trunks, his strike attack is lower.
Yeah.
Well, their strike attack is lower. But I think that's a pretty good trade-off for how broken they are to that extent.
Mhm.
So,
You wanna know would be a funny glitch?
Okay, the first unique.
Alright, let me read it.
Okay.
Let me read it for Vegeta, bro. Like he's been reading all the time. Okay. Azure Guardians applies the following effects to self when battle starts or when. Oh, you mean that one?
Yeah.
the main ability. You should probably do the main ability first, buddy.
My bad.
Okay.
Tag switch to Vegeta. Reverses own element factors. Restores own health by 50% and keep by 30. Increases on card draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts. Plus 10% for 2 special damage No, special move damage inflicted, my bad. Requirements match switch gauge.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the other side, which is Goku's. So it's about time I got a chance to fight. Oh, by the way, Oscar didn't say it, but when you switch to Vegeta, the main ability is called "What the hell are you waiting for?" So I mean, it's Vegeta, obviously, but yes. So with if you're Vegeta, you're switching to Goku, right? It's about time I got a chance to fight. So you attack switch to Goku. Reverses own element factors, restores own health by 15% and ki by 30. Increases own arc card's draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts, plus 10 to special move damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Requirements, max switch gauge.
So it's the same thing as Vegeta's.
Yes. So checking... Okay, so I'm checking for both sides. It looks like it's basically the same thing. I think the only difference is that it's the attack switching, which is to that specific character. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Let me read the unique ability now. It is called Azure Guardians. Applies the following effect to self when battle starts or when this character enters the battlefield via attack switch. Plus 90% to damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Plus 50% to strike damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Reduces damage received by 40% cannot be cancelled. Minus 5 to strike art cost cannot be cancelled. Effect resets when tag switch to Vegeta. While this character is on the battlefield, applies the following effects to someone, causing the character with a revive when health reaches 0 effect to revive. Increases on Dragon Balls by 2. Reduces enemies' Dragon Balls by 2. Ultimate combination.
So
Wait,
I'll
is
read.
that another one?
So, Oscar, I'm gonna have you read Goku's side of the unique ability. I'm gonna read Vegeta's. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Azure Guardian. So this is Vegeta's side. Applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield via attack switch. So essentially, the 90% of damage inflicted and reduction in damage is the same thing as Goku's, I believe. Let me check. Yeah, it is the same thing. Now, the only difference is that with Vegeta, you get blast damage instead. Blast damage instead of strike. Your reduction in your blast cards are blast arts cost is reduced by 10. So you basically 19. Same thing with the anti-revival mechanic. It's literally the same thing. So yeah, moving on to ultimate combination. So why don't you start us off, Oscar?
But okay. Reduces damage received by 20% until combo ends when changing cover. Evades enemies' attack if a cover change is performed against their blast or attack. Activates during assist. The following effects occur every time this character uses a strike or blast arts. Restores own health by 3%. Minus 3 to own special move arts cost. Activates 5 times. Cannot be cancelled. Inflicts all enemies with attributed downgrade. Plus 10% to damage received for 20 timer counts. The following effects occur when this character evades an enemy's attack with a vanishing step. Draws a special arts card next activate once. Shortens ally substitutions counts by 1.
So
Damn,
looks like he's a disruptor.
It's
So for Vegeta, so essentially the restoration health is the same, but everything else is slightly different. So I'll read off what's pretty much different. Restores ki by 5 instead of having to reduce special move arts costs. Plus 20% to ki recovery. Activates 5 times. Cannot be cancelled. While this character is on the battlefield, applies the following effects to self when enemy switches characters. Draw a blast arts card next, and restores ki by 20. So if you're in a combo against, like, say, a yellow... So let's say you're fighting against a yellow character, and they switch out. You get an extra 20 ki. They switch out again. It's like another 20 ki. So, but yeah, that's basically it.
Strikes and blasts is normal.
Mm-hmm. That's
Blue
true.
Card. Oh my god. This is Goku. Sorry.
Okay, let me read it then. Cosmetic Rush deals massive impact damage. Applies the following effects to self upon activation. Restores vanishing out by 70%. Applies at attributed upgrade minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 3 timer counts. Nullifies enemies restore own health when it reaches 0 effects when this character attacks for 3 timer counts. Blast armor when changing forward.
Okay. So for Vegeta, his is Cosmic Shooter. So his is the range. So I'm gonna say this right now. For Goku, I think Oscar detailed that he's a melee type. So essentially, you want Goku to be like up and close to your opponent, whereas Vegeta, if you want to pretty much, I hate saying this, but if you want to hang back, then you want to use Vegeta. But yeah.
Yeah, like.
All right. So for Vegeta, he instead of restoring Bandage Cage, he gets more special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts by 25%. The upgrade to pretty much the upgrade to cut through enemy sustained damage cut for 3 timer counts by 50% is the same, as well as nullifying enemies restores on health when it reaches 0. But I believe, well, from what I can tell, it's the same thing. I don't know why, but I think they're both melee types. I don't know if you have to have Goku to do the blue card. Potentially, maybe Vegeta can also activate the blue card. I don't know, but I'm expecting that they have a mechanic where either Goku or Vegeta can activate the LF.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all right. So green card for Goku.
Yeah.
But okay, Overflowing Valor. Draws a special move arts card next. Activates once. Randomly destroys one enemy card. Reduces enemy ki by 40. Restores own ki by 25. Plus 20% to strike damage inflicted for 20 timer counts.
Okay, so it looks like it's a he benefits himself and also debuffs his opponent. That's an interesting green card.
Mm-hmm.
So mine is called, so for Vegeta, it's called Bursting Brazen Power. So special move arts card next is the same thing. Restores own ki by 40 instead of having to reduce it. Reduce enemy ki plus 30% to damage to blast damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. Gains buff effect. Nullifies enemy special. So that means he can nullify enemy cover changes. Nullifies enemy special actions to activate when changing cover for 15 timer counts. So I think this is a pretty good green card. So if you don't want anybody changing, just switch to Vegeta. Just activate the green. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restoration for 30 timer counts. So essentially, if you activate 2 green cards at the same time, so let's say we're fighting against a Fat Boo, and you activate 2 green cards, he doesn't get the heal. So, yep.
So to tag is Sun Family for Vegeta Clan and Galaki.
Yeah. So luckily they did. Luckily they did do it for 1 and 2 for 2 and 3 stars, for the 2 and 3 star mark. But it doesn't really matter because it's just a 3-star mark at the end of the day. So.
At 6 to get the Galaki and Sun Family from the movie.
Yeah. So sorry. Sorry to interrupt, but so he's meant to fit on 4 tags, which is Sun Family, Vegeta Clan, or God Key, and then 18% to episode stocks from the movies. So essentially, you want to put him with movies, but you also want to make sure that there's Sun Family and Vegeta Clan members to get that strike and blast attack. On the other hand, I'd say if you use them in the leader slot, it wouldn't matter, but to me, it's kind of important if you don't really care about the leader slot, because I'm one of those people where I don't really see the leader slot as a difference. Only when I run fun teams I do, but other than that, I don't really see a difference.
Yeah,
but
I'm just showing from them about the side, and then see that not bad on PS side.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing, bro. Sorry to interrupt, Vegito. So, here's the thing. That Goku is mainly only strike, and the Vegeta is mainly like for blast, blue cards and green cards.
So what this implies is that tag switch characters would have different typings. Essentially, if you tag switch, they'll have different roles. So essentially, it's like an all-rounder unit that fills like all the roles, but you have like 2 separate units to handle. On the other hand, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So I'm gonna put a situation here. We're fighting against Blue VB, right? Remember, Blue VB gets buffs per character he faces. So say you tag switch to Vegeta, then he gets a blast buff as well. If you switch back to Goku, you get another strike buff. But I digress. That's basically, I want to just warn you guys that potentially this could be a double-edged sword if you're fighting a character that gets buffs if someone switches.
Yeah. So they sound, oh my god, good.
Yep.
Now,
All right.
now
So.
it gets my boy Broly.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna be honest. When he was revealed, I was kind of shocked with his size. His size was massive.
So, like, I believe in a fact. I believe Broly's size is about the same size as Corrupted Zamasu.
The stats, yeah.
Like, I believe they just copy and pasted Zamasu's eyes, but they did like Broly.
Yeah. The stats not bad. You want to read the ability?
Before we do that, I want to mention that he is basically Blue Trunks in a nutshell. Only this time his blast attack is pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
His defenses are pretty decent for a Sparking that's not an LF or the works basically. But on the other hand, like I said, his blast attack is pretty much terrible. If you really want like him to actually have blast attack, I'd say around 9 stars is where you'll see the difference. But otherwise, I don't recommend trying to. If you want to have a blast attack team, try not to get this Broly. But if you want to run like a strike variant of movies or powerful opponent or something, I think this is worth it.
Yeah.
Because this Broly seems pretty good on paper in terms of stats right now. We haven't read the rest of his kit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, you want to read the ability?
I'll do it. So main ability: Fistful of Rage. Draw a strike card next. Restores own health by 15% and ki by 30. Plus 40% to its next strike card's damage inflicted. Applies buff effect. Nullifies enemy special actions that activate when changing cover to self for 30 timer counts. Requirements: 15 timer counts to lapse. So essentially, you want to continue a combo with a strike card, and also, again, like I said, I think with Vegeta earlier, if you want to if you have a green card and if you don't want anyone to change, just use the main ability and there you go. You don't care about cover changes.
Yeah.
So I kind of like this. Unique ability: Uncontrollable Battle Instinct. So he has a 20% of damage inflicted against Tax Saiyan, so he's anti-Saiyan as well. So I think we're gonna see a lot of anti buffs specific to counter specific tags. So we saw what against Tax Hyper Saiyan and the Saiyans, like with the other units that are not LFs. So that's a pretty good change. Although I don't know if I kind of wish they added like a specific passive for Trunks where he counters either Fusion Warriors or powerful opponent, but I digress. I think this is fine. I think because his stats are pretty broken as it is. But anyways, applies the following effects to self when battle starts. Plus 60% to his next special move damage inflicted. Reduces damage received by 25% for 60 timer counts. Cannot be cancelled. Minus 25%. Okay, not percent, but minus 25 to special move arts cost for 60 timer counts cannot be cancelled. So you have a half price on your blue card, and you have a 25% reduction in damage for 60 timer counts. This is pretty good. But I'm kind of nervous because this also implies he's a bit of if you guys know the green Rats, I probably not any new players or returning players that haven't seen him in the light of day. But for those who do know, as you guys know, he has like temporary buffs, and even with those buffs, he's not worth it, right? So I'm kind of concerned whether or not his passive is like similar to that of Raditz, where he if you lose those buffs, it's game over. I don't want that to happen. So hopefully his stats that we've seen, can back him up aside from his terrible blast attack. But it is what it is. Applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield. Draw a special move arts card. Next, activates once. So a blue card restores key by 25, plus 80% of damage inflicted. Cannot be stacked. Reduces damage received by 30% for 15 timer counts. So so there's a lot of characters nowadays with the restore key. You continue combo. He draws a blue card, which is pretty neat actually. So if you want to just combo in a blue card, you can just do that. So it's pretty great. Okay. Prodigious Progress.
Want me to read it?
Yeah, you probably should.
Okay. Okay. Progress. While this character is on the battlefield, applies the following effects to self every time enemy uses an arts card. Strike arts card plus 50% to strike damage inflicted up to 60% cannot be cancelled. Blast art card plus 15% to the blast damage inflicted up to 60% cannot be cancelled. Special art card restores HP or health by 15% and key by 40. Special move arts card 15% to special move damage inflicted up to 60% cannot be cancelled. Ultimate or weaken arts card, draw a special move arts card next.
I kind of like this. I kind of like this unique as. So this is what I want to add. I like this unique. So this is for every enemy. So I think this is fine. So say you're fighting against a Goku and Vegeta tag switch character. This is pretty great actually, because say Vegeta does a green card, you can basically restore more health and not have to worry because against Vegeta you're pretty much you have the advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. His strike card is interesting because he increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 5 timer counts. So essentially, this is the same as the green trunks. As some people know about the green trunks, where he increases arts card draw speed through every strike he does, because he does arts cost reduction through blast. But yeah, I digress. Special move Revenge Order. Deals massive impact damage plus 25% to special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts upon activation and blast armor when charging forward. So essentially, like this, if this passive still, so say you do a mid range, but you somehow still you somehow have another blue card and you're able to hit it, you get like a 50% special move damage buff. I don't know, but that's if you're quick enough. Special skill, Explosive Bloodlust. Restores own key by 30. Randomly stores 2 enemy cards. Inflicts all enemies with attribute diagram minus 50% to health restoration with 20 timer counts. Inflicts all enemies with attribute diagram plus 2 to substitution count for 20 timer counts. So essentially, he's basically a crippling unit. As well as, you can... So say, for example, FSK draws his ultimate. Well, he can say goodbye to it because Broly can just basically do 2 green cards and it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, so tags at 14 stars, 30% to tag episode same from the movies, or tag opponent. Yeah, this is for how opponent and saying from the movies. That's really good.
So, I want to add something here. So essentially, with the theme of the units, either they have more defense, or in Goku and Vegeta's case, I think they have double offenses with the Goku and Vegeta. It's just with the rest of the units are mainly focused on both defenses to an extent. So, but yeah.
So they are these are buckings are not bad. Oh my god.
Yeah,
actually not bad.
These Sparkins aren't bad. It's just I wish Broly was somewhat better with his blast attack. If his blast attack at let's say 7 stars. So let's say he's at 7 stars, right?
Yeah.
If his blast attack was around 210k, I think he'd be decent.
Yeah.
For a unit, but again, he's held back somewhat because he's mainly strike based and his blast attack is pretty terrible.
But he's the first Broly says have the blast armor on the blue card to sing. Because Blue Lake Light, they don't have the blue card last summer. Now we are doing the banner.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, it's gonna be starting with 300, 500, 700, 1K, 1K, 0.
not bad.
Damn it, I can only do 2 steps.
Oh my god, Lord. What is going on? Where is
Okay.
it?
Oh god.
Where
So I just checked the rates. So just keep this in mind. I think this is meant for, I believe, so this is for the regular sparking rate. So I think essentially they want you to spend crystals on it. I think with the ticket banner, it's a bit of a different story, but covering the crystal banner, I want to say this, but I want to say this: the ticket banner, actually no, the crystal banner for both the Beyond the Trust and Call of Hope, essentially, their new characters are in fact at the maximum value. I think the only thing that concerns me is the new character, like the new EX, like right. So you could potentially get the new EX, but like it's the same race as like any other sparking. Featured sparkings and other featured sparkings in they're called LFs. LFs are 0.25 as usual. The sparkings are 0.5% chance, meaning they pretty much rival the LF's rate. However, you have a chance of getting like the other unit that's not an LF.
Wait.
So say for example you're summoning on what?
I did not see the F.
They're on the bottom. They're all the way on the bottom. That's weird, but yeah. With Goku and Vegeta, right? So they're 0.5% chance. However, Broly. So say for example you're trying to get Goku and Vegeta, but for some reason you keep pulling characters. Potentially you can pull Broly out of this as well. So it's a good trade-off at least. But at the same time, like I wish the rates weren't so bad for these characters. And like all the characters that we see in these banners right now are basically just fodder characters that have released, characters that are fodder basically. So I kind of wish it wasn't that case, but it is what it is with how Legends works. So.
But I'm just saying. So we are just with a breakdown of this banners,
Okay, so my breakdown for the banners is that essentially for those who want to summon, right? If you're limited to just one banner, or you want to focus on one banner before you focus on the other, I want to say this right now. If you're a Sagas from the movies or powerful opponent user, then I suggest you go to the Goku and Vegeta banner, right? Because the LF on the banner is Gaki. Yes, I know he's Gaki, but in my opinion, he's mainly used for movies. He's meant to be with movies. I know that sounds crazy, but I think he's meant for movies. Essentially, right? On the other hand, if you want God Key or future units, just go to the Trunks banner. They have great choices. I mean, Evolution Vegeta's back after months. Those LF Rose for Future, for Strike Future, although sells better. Keep mind you, sells I think better by a margin. Future Gohan for Strike Future, VB for Strike Future. If you don't get the Trunks, Goten, and then there's Zenkai LFs as well. Super Vegito getting his Zenkai soon, and then Beerus, and then Goten and Gohan on Trunks' banner. Makes sense with the hybrids theme. If you're wondering why Vegito and Beerus are on there, it's mainly because again Super Vegito's getting his Zenkai and people want copies for him. Beerus fits the theme for I think at the Broly movie simply because again he made like a cameo in the Broly movie. Although he didn't play a major role in the movie, but yeah, I digress.
Should you summon on the banner?
Like for beginners, I should say they should summon on a Trunks banner.
Yeah. So for new and returning
But-
players like So for new and returning players like Oscar said, probably Trunks' banner is the best bet to go, and especially for free to play players, probably the best bet. Because again, Future and God Key are basically I think mainly God Key, right? They're the most cost effective teams. Future
Mhm.
is a bit strict, but it is also cost effective if you have the right units, of course.
Yeah.
If you want to go summon for Goku and Vegeta, right? Because you want them, just keep in mind you're mainly going to the movies or powerful opponent route. So you're going through a team setup where you're mainly trying to get like you have to spend a lot, like you have to spend money for potentially, because those teams require like they're really strict on their units compared to Future and God Key, right? So yeah, again, like Oscar says, if you're a beginner player or a returning player that's free to play, just do the Trunks banner first. Just please.
Yeah.
If you're playing PvP, otherwise just do whatever banner you want. If you're a collector, it doesn't matter.
What else you want to say of these characters and the banner?
I have nothing else to say, but I do want to say one more thing about the new Legends Festival summon. There is a new Legends Festival summon where there's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on it, as well as Corrupt Zamasu, LF Super Saiyan 4, and Purple Revival Gohan. Unless you're like a really hardcore, like if you really want that missing piece for your team. So for example, GT, you're missing that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. You need him for hybrids. You need that Gohan. The works basically. Unless you're willing to spend money potentially to get like the lowest rates for those LFs and trying to get them, then don't summon for the banner. Just do dailies.
Yeah.
If you want, but otherwise just don't summon on the banner at all. I guarantee you it is not worth your time for the Legends Festival summon unless you're willing to like sacrifice basically most of your resources trying to get one of the LFs on there.
Yeah. But on else, are you okay?
So the LFs are on the new banners are pretty decent. So again, like I said before, they're pretty good. For the LFs on the festival banner, it's not worth it in my opinion, because although they're good, right, in their own way, I must say the flaws. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, everybody knows that he just sucks at defense, offense, and he has to take a hit in order to do stuff. So no. Gohan, I'd say, I mean, he's a pretty good unit, but again, there's like so many other units on the banner that you could potentially get, so not worth it. Red Corrupt Zamasu, pretty good, but probably best at higher stars. At lower stars, he probably cannot take a hit. I'm gonna say this right now, and he'll probably do decent damage. And I think he's mainly like at lower stars, he's mainly I think match required to fight against Saiyans. I think like any like Saiyan based teams. For Gogeta, again, I think if you want Gogeta, I mean Gogeta's great. I mean, right now, in my opinion, he's a pretty good unit. Defenses. He has a really good platinum equipment. He has 2 platinum equipments he can equip on. But again, like I said, it's not worth it, and probably not the best to go for.
Yeah.
If you're not going to run GT, in my opinion. If you're not going to run GT or Fusion Warriors, no point in trying to get Gogeta. So.
Yeah.
Uh,
But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you make this far, I don't know how long is it, but but if you just were great, thank you for staying by. And leave a comment what you think about these new characters in the banner. Are you going to get them or not? And yeah, I see you later. And you guys want to say?
Good luck on your summons, guys.
Wait, let me see one more thing before we leave. Okay.
Also,
don't worry, guys.
Tonight, everybody, we're eating good tonight. So enjoy the legend.
We're eating good tonight. Yes. Okay. Before we go, I want to say this celebration is so good. Like, people, take advantage of the LFs. Take advantage of the banners that they're giving you. Like, don't worry. Like, you could spend your CC on the banners, but there's gonna be more content, more CC. Don't worry about it. You can pull your luck, but don't worry that he will come back. So yeah, I wish y'all best luck on your summons. A good, and I hope y'all celebrate this festival like it was. Bro, not, in my opinion, this is the best festival. So I hope y'all celebrate it like a good holiday or something.
And
I do want to say one more thing.
mhm.
So I have some friends in the server real quick. So, like, okay. So we're gonna say something on count of three, and I think this will be pretty funny to put in the video. All right, 1, 2, 3. Meh.
Man.
Meh.
Okay, guys, don't
All
worry.
right, we're done. Just,
Okay, but
just
no.
if
Before we go,
anybody
before we go,
berates you for the
guys,
choice of your banner,
guys.
just
By
remember
the way,
that you
we
just to
only have
say
20
mid.
minutes left after this video. We have 20 minutes left after this video. Don't forget to summon. Okay, end it off, Broly.
Okay, and peace out.
Yes, let's go.